I don't know why it closed out of me. There we go. There we go. All right.
Because you mocked the recording in progress.
I know. I
Like
did. I mocked it, and therefore I deserve the punishment that I got. Is everybody ready already?
Yes, sir.
As long as recording is in progress.
Recording in progress. All right. Let's hit it. Hello, hello, and welcome to our humble little podcast. This is Atlantis After Dark, the greatest place in all of cyberspace. The other day I called up my wife. I said to her, hey honey, I've been thinking about the last time we had sex. I'm getting excited. She said, who is this? I'll tell you what, I'm ready to go already. You are too. So let's not waste a whole lot more time. Let's get right into it and let's meet today's All-Stars. Warming up in the bullpen. He finally got sick of all the stress. He left everything behind and moved to Alaska. After about 6 months of peace and quiet, he gets a knock at the door. He opens it up and a big bearded man says, hey, my name's Cliff. I'm your neighbor from 40 miles up the road. I'm having a Christmas party on Friday night at 5. But I gotta warn you, there might be some drinking. And he says, well, that's fine with me. I could always use a drink. And the man said, well, come to think of it, there's also going to be a little bit of fighting. The man thinks for a minute and says, well, I should be fine. I can hang with the best of them. And then before the man walks away, he says, oh yeah, there's probably going to be some wild sex too. Then our all-star says, finally, I catch a break. What should I wear? The man turns back and says, well, it don't much matter. It's just going to be you and me. It's Biff by Adam West. What's happening, buddy?
What's going on, man?
It's another day in paradise, as we say.
I'm not much of a rough it guy.
No?
No, my idea of
you
camping.
Yeah.
Yeah, my idea of camping is a 5-star hotel with the window open.
And that's not. You and I will go camping, buddy. What do you say?
Yeah.
We'll plan a camping trip, and I'll show you how to do it.
I will tell you this: is I am like a baby. If you put a bottle in my mouth, I'm happy. So I could do anything.
Sure, you could,
as long as I have the proper lubrication.
I'll teach you how to fish for real. Teach you how to fish for. Anyways, damn glad to have you back on the show today, buddy. Up next, he is the Sorcerer Supreme of cyberspace. The other day, he found out he was being audited by the IRS. He asked his friends for advice. He says, what should I wear when I go see the IRS? His friends gave him all kinds of different answers. Some said, wear your worst, most run-down clothes to make them think you have nothing at all. Another friend told him to dress in his Sunday best and said, don't let them intimidate you. He was so confused, he went to his local priest and he said, oh, Father, everyone is telling me something different when I ask for advice on this. What should I do? The priest says, my advice? Wear what you want. You're getting fucked either way. It's Retpmus. Welcome, Big Kahuna. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well.
Nice.
Thanks for asking. Glad to be here.
What's on the docket today? What do you have? Are you going to mow the lawn or do any yard work or do anything fun?
I was actually hanging shelves up in the living room so my wife could put pictures up. She's been wanting to do it forever, and she got some shelves, so I'm in there trying to, get them all level and everything so she can get that done. I got 2 of them up, and then I came in here for the show, and I got to go, I think, put 6 more up. And then after that, then it's back to my normal daily work.
So you're a shelf hanging fool today.
That's it.
Wow. You guys role play the man so well.
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody has to. Well, damn glad to have you back on the show. Hopefully we give you a break from hanging shelves. I almost said shanging hells. Good Lord. Welcome back. Up next, he is the gangster of ganja. People don't know this, but in college he dated a German exchange student. I said, well, that must have been fun. He said, it was okay. She used to rate my sexual performances. I said, how was that? He said, well, I found out I'm really good at giving anal. Every time we did it, she would scream, 9, 9, 9. It's Sekju. Welcome to the show, pal.
To a 9 joke somewhere.
Yes, it's a 9 joke. It's German is 9. You knew where I was going with it. Oh.
Well,
There's a good way to fit that in there, though.
the pent-up historical angst, just taking it back out on the Germans. What can I say?
Well, It has to be done somewhere, right?
The irony of it is my wife is half German.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So maybe I was really talking about. Well, never mind. I don't want to start a fight. Anyways, we're damn glad to have you on the show today, pal. And last but not least, last week she burst into her hypnotherapist office and said, "Doc, I've been faithful to my boyfriend for 5 years, but yesterday I broke that trust and I had an affair, and the guilt is killing me. I just want to forget that it ever happened." Her therapist then turns back at her and says, "Oh, not again." It's Miss Junk. How the hell are you today?
Oh, great. It's so glad to see you guys again. It's been a while.
We are damn glad to have you back on the show after a long
and by the way,
hiatus.
happy Star Wars Day, happy Free Comic Book Day. It's a nerd weekend.
I know. The nerd is out to play this weekend, I'll tell you what. And I did watch a little bit of May 4th goodies yesterday. If you haven't seen it, Oral Knots, have you heard of those guys before? They do like parodies on YouTube. And they did a series called Larry, which is a spoof on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Which
I saw where you linked that. I was going to watch it later.
Yeah. If you haven't seen that, there's a link to it on our Discord server. Go and check it out. That is an amazing YouTube series. It's totally hilarious. You'll laugh your balls off. You'll laugh your tits off. Whatever you've got to laugh off, you're going to laugh it off, folks.
I love the Zack Snyder Star Wars.
Yeah, the Zack Snyder Star Wars is pretty good too.
They just slow-mo everything.
Yeah. Slow motion Vader through the. Yeah, great.
I like the excessive unnecessary exposition for Vader, like explaining everything to the officer that just wants the orders.
Yeah,
the 3PO and R2's dialogue in the pod.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was painful. I actually watched those new movies on Netflix with my wife, and they were watchable, but there's scenes in it where it's just exposition for no reason. Unprovoked. Not like they just start talking about their backstory, and you're like, this is so forced. It's so forced.
you need to see the new Rebel Moon.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that's what it was. Yeah, it's
the Scargiver or whatever.
Yes.
It's I don't know. I guess I have to wait for the R-rated extended mega edition to really get the story though.
Yeah, the 3-hour long one.
I mean, I'm still gonna watch it. I don't know why I'm making fun of myself because I will still watch it. So
I will as well.
Yeah. Anywho, I am damn glad to have all of you back on a fantastic Sunday morning to discuss nerd stuff like Star Wars, and in our case, some DC content. That was our gong. Can you guys hear my gong when I? No,
I barely heard
it. Okay. Well, the important thing is the audience hears it. And this week we're going to do a little bit of a play on World's Finest. We're not going to talk about World's Finest specifically, but you could see how the topics are pointed towards that. So that's kind of what I put on there, World's Finest. I don't know if it works or not. But I've got some questions, and I want to pose a couple of questions to the panel at large. And I want to find out what you guys think, because these are questions that I've always wondered, and maybe we can get a little bit of clarity on them. And question number one is, for all of our Batman fans out there, including myself, there are so many heir apparents to Bruce Wayne's mantle of Batman. If you think about it, he's got tons of kids. Tons of them. How many orphaned kids has he raised and, taken out crime fighting with him at night? So he's got a lot of them, folks. All the way from Jason
he's not a very
Todd.
good parent.
So question about this.
Yeah.
So would that be what we feel, or what we feel he should do?
No, whatever you guys think. It's who do you think is the heir apparent to Batman? It could be whoever you think.
Well, we know Biff's answer. It's obviously Taylor, whatever the fuck his name is, from Gotham Knights, right?
Yeah, the one we've never heard of.
I bet you we all have the same exact answer.
Do you really?
I think it's all going to be Dick Grayson will be the main one, and then there'll be some sub ones.
I was going to say Retpmus.
Yeah, that's not my answer.
Well, mine would be Dick Grayson.
Okay.
Hashtag not my Robin.
He was the very first one. He was with him till he entirely grew up. He didn't take on another one until after he left to become, Nightwing. But those are all stories that were created later on. So you got to think his whole entire childhood to adulthood, he was with him the whole time. A lot of his other ones that he's taken on, either they're still young in the storylines or they've been killed. He's the only one that's went the whole way. But then there's the argument about Damian Wayne, which is his true blood. Okay. I mean, if I was Bruce Wayne, I would hand it down to Dick because that was my true son. He was the first one, that I raised. But Damian would be my blood. So there would be stuff in it for him as well as everybody else. But the main one has to go to Dick Grayson for that reason. Blood or no blood, he was his son. Plain and simple.
Yeah,
I
right
don't
out
have
the
either
gate.
of those as my answer.
All right, there's my answer. Go ahead,
Yeah,
guys.
no, right out the gate. And I suppose my problem with that, right, if I have to find something to poke at it with, my problem with that is, Dick has already established himself as Nightwing on his own, out and about, beyond, Batman's shadow. And I know that in the comics he went back and, filled in for Batman under the cape and cowl, a time or two, but I don't think that would be the case.
But you didn't say to fill in for Batman. You said the heir to Bruce Wayne.
Well, right. What I'm saying is he filled in for Batman under Batman's cape and cowl in the comics. That doesn't mean he's going to be the heir apparent, I don't think. That's just my humble take on it. But,
I didn't take Batman into consideration at all. I was just taking Bruce Wayne as the playboy that people see who would inherit that. Because you said Bruce Wayne's heir, not Batman. Who would become the next Batman or anything like that?
Okay, well then.
Wait, Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Spoiler alert!
It's been all this time.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
AB?
So I do, but I thought it was
that way too.
What was that?
I took it the way that who's going to take over the role of Batman?
Right, that's what I meant to say.
That's what I took it
That's
as.
what I meant to say. So
But
yeah.
you said Bruce Wayne, not Batman.
Yes.
Oh, for
You
fuck's sake!
you said the heir apparent to Bruce Wayne, not Batman. They're two separate.
Okay,
because
Retpmus.
Bruce Wayne
You're
is the
smarter
one that
than
does
all of us.
the one that does all the jobs. That it's head of the company. The the face of Wayne Industries.
Oh, that's what he had Lucius Fox for.
Well, Lucius
He
Fox
just
is
hides in the
old.
shadows and plays with his bat toys.
That's why I would have picked Jace Fox, quite actually, because of that.
No, I mean Batman.
okay.
So change your
Okay.
answer. I'm going to delete everything you just said, Retmus. So everything you just said is going to go by, and you're going to see a split in the video where it's like, Retmus, who do you think is the best heir apparent to Batman? And it's going to be like, well, I think it's going to be. No, I'm kidding. What's it going to be, buddy?
I still think Dick Grayson's a compelling argument for that.
You
though,
think
too.
so?
It's for both.
Because
Okay,
for the
it's for
reasons
both. You're just
Retmus
funny.
mentioned, I mean, we had discussed this a little bit briefly and kind of agreed on it. I have a different one I want to present for reasons, but I kind of agree with him to a certain extent because Dick has a lot of the similar experience as Bruce of losing his parents in front of his eyes, and then being taken in by Bruce. They have not the exact same backstory because it's not. I mean, it kind of is because they were murdered. It's Bullet versus Sabotage, but
Yeah.
hey, both parents were murdered. Both went into crime fighting. He spent his years with Bruce. People know that Dick Grayson is connected to Bruce Wayne, so it just makes sense that he would inherit Bruce's wealth versus him picking one of the other Robins that he has no direct connection to. Other than Damian. So
Yeah.
kind of look at choices of who would naturally fit into both of those roles of being Bruce Wayne's public heir, but also being able to fill the shoes of Batman. So I like Retmus's answer for those reasons. So I was just going to jump to his defense on that one, even though we were going to throw away that testimonial.
No, we're not throwing away a testimonial. I'm kidding. No, look, at the end of the day, I don't see anything wrong with that as an answer. I really don't. I think that, gosh, I just don't see. I don't think Dick would want it.
I think the referral was a counterpoint. Oh, go ahead, Retmus. Sorry.
I was saying if something happened and he died and the shoes needed to be filled, I 100% think he would step up and fill those shoes if they needed to be filled because he did it before.
Well, sure, he
Right,
did it
after
before,
Infinite Crisis. Isn't that
Yeah.
our final
Yeah.
was Final
Yeah.
Crisis?
Yeah.
So it would all come to the scenario, if it came down and it was like, he passed away or he was killed, and in his will, he left this to these 3 people, whoever wanted to choose. If there was someone else that would choose, he probably wouldn't choose. But if it was left to like, oh, we've got to fill this note, or this is going to happen, or this is bad, then he would definitely step up and take it. But he wouldn't take it just to take it, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't there a comic where Batman actually referred to Dick Grayson as his like ultimate contingency plan at one point? I feel like that was like said at one point. I can't remember the comic. Maybe Lurking can answer this in the chat at one point. In the Talk With Us channel, Lurking, please address this topic.
Yeah, there you go. Clear it up for everybody.
Right. I'm almost positive it was out there at one point where Batman said it in like an inspirational way to Nightwing that he was like the ultimate contingency plan for the whole Bat family, basically.
Right.
It's all based on how nice his ass is, though. Because that is a Nightwing thing.
Is it?
Yeah. That's literally a Nightwing thing. Is they talk about how nice his butt is. Like, go look it up.
I don't
Just
read
Google
Nightwing
Nightwing's
comics,
butt.
so
You'll
I don't.
find it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll go look at a Nightwing comic now.
It's like the pregnant Sonic thing. It's just a weird thing that just is.
Pregnant Sonic.
It's all those years in short shorts.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well,
we all know who really is the heir at the end. It's already been explained. It's Terry McGinnis.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. Yeah.
It's already been answered, but
And so, spoiler alert, that's mine. If we're going to go there, Terry
Yeah,
McGinnis.
Retpmus, why are you saying everybody, Retpmus?
Hey, let me go down through this list.
Yeah. Terry McGinnis was mine. And for all the same, honestly, for all the same reasons that Sekju just listed. I mean, it's a literal, carbon copy. Not a copy, because he's not Bruce's son, but he is Bruce's son. I mean,
Right.
his DNA was manipulated into the McGinnis family to make a Batman. They hired the Phantasm to kill Bruce's parents, but guess what? Didn't want to do it. Couldn't pull the trigger. Tragedy struck anyway. And that put him on the path to being Batman. It was a complete Cadmus project, right? Project Batman Beyond. But I think that it worked. And more than anybody else out there in the field, Terry McGinnis had the actual Bruce Wayne in his ear the whole time, telling him how to do things, how to beat the Joker, how to beat, the Joker gang, how to beat, Inc., and how to beat all these villains, right? Tell him how to beat all these guys. So, I think for those reasons, Terry McGinnis, and plus he's done it. He's been doing it. He's wearing the suit. I think in one instance, I think I saw a panel or a comic where they did explain that Bruce, once he passed, Terry McGinnis took it over, and Damian went back to the League of Shadows. So I have to disqualify Damian for that reason, for those purposes. But that's
Isn't that like a retcon kind of thing, though? Because I thought Batman Beyond existed before Damian Wayne really took center stage.
yeah, Damian didn't
Like
exist
Future
in that.
State and all of that
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Well, remember, this is our view, so
Right,
the
right,
stories,
right,
the
yeah.
stories don't make it. Doesn't matter what the stories
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. Anyways.
Because I think
spoiler
Damian
alert.
Wayne only went back to the League of Shadows in the animated universe. Doesn't he become Batman in Future State?
Jace Fox
believe
becomes
you're
Batman in
right.
Future State, doesn't he?
What's up?
Doesn't Jace Fox become Batman in Future State?
Oh yeah, you're right. He is Future State
Okay,
Batman.
okay,
I don't
yeah.
know. Why did I think Damian Wayne just doing his own thing during Future State? Isn't he around?
I don't know.
I haven't read it yet. I'm getting there. I'm
Yeah,
still
I don't
catching
know.
up.
I haven't read Future State myself, so. Oh my God. Miss Junk, what do you think? Who do you think is going to be the heir apparent to Batman?
I think Jace Fox would be a good one.
Jace Fox?
Just given how yeah, I mean again, there's so many different storylines of Batman too, where they're different. But the one just how much of an ally Lucius was, how much Lucius helped him, and let's face it, all the gadgets and the armor and the stuff like that Lucius came up with in those story arcs.
Yeah.
Not that that's what makes a good Batman, but I think that's I don't know, that would be my answer. I don't really have a lot to it. I'm not.
Hey, there's
Plus,
nothing wrong with
I mean,
that.
it
No.
That
makes
would be
sense though,
good.
because with his dad's position with Wayne corporation, like it would make
Right.
sense that his son would like help out if Batman doesn't have any heirs apparent and Bruce Wayne doesn't have any actual heirs apparent.
Yeah.
You know, this guy that's been running the company for 40 fucking years. Oh, makes sense. His kid would have some insight. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, he was never a Robin, right, Jace?
right. No, he
Right.
just stepped right into that
Yeah.
role, basically.
To backtrack on one question, Sekju, real quick.
Yeah.
Damian Wayne has been Batman multiple times in multiple stories.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
I think somebody corrected me, yes, that it was not in Future State, though. It was Jace Fox in Future State
Yeah.
that was Future State Batman.
How
So,
can
I had
Damian
that
Wayne
wrong.
be Batman already?
Well,
Isn't he supposed
like-
to be a kid?
After his father dies, he becomes Batman
Or
in
just-
like some storylines.
like in the future?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just pulled up a list real quick about all the times he became Batman, and there's a lot of times he has become Batman.
Wow.
Which makes sense as Batman's, biological son, and also, given the role they've given him in recent years. But
Man.
I don't know. I like the Jace Fox pick, though. I wouldn't have thought that.
I do
one.
as
That-
I do as
It
well.
makes really good sense based on like the public facing side of things because of how prominent Lucius Fox is in Wayne Corporation.
Yeah, and I mean and I think the original Batman. I don't think Lucius Fox was introduced until like the 70s or 80s or something like that. So like but I could be wrong. I don't know. But I mean the idea that he still has the whole corporation, all of the R&D, all of that stuff. He's still and it's something he's still the CEO of Wayne Enterprises. So that was where I was going with it.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think Batman or Lucius Fox existed in Batman 66, did he, Biff?
He did not. He did not. Now, I got a question because this show so far has just gone next level nerd. And I don't know a lot of this stuff. But who is Damian Wayne's mom?
Talia al
Talia.
Ghul.
Talia
yeah.
Ghul, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't know that, Biff. Shame
I
on
don't.
you.
No, I
yeah.
don't.
How dare you?
I don't.
Which,
I don't.
mean,
I thought
given-
everybody knew that one. Sorry.
Given the
Not to dog ya.
genetics, Damon Wayne should have a better ass than Nightwing and Dick Grayson. Given
Yeah.
the genetics of Talia, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, the Flying Graysons, they were, trapeze.
oh, that's true. That's true.
They got to tight leg muscles and all those other muscles. So
Pludius Maximus.
I don't know. Gymnasts don't have great derrieres, right? They just have very thicker
I
legs.
don't know. Maybe
I
I'm
think
just thinking of
Talia-
like Greatest
it depends
Showman,
on
Jack
what- it
Efron
depends
and
on what
Zendaya
event.
flying around up there. They have nice butts.
Yeah, it
All
depends
right.
on what events, what muscles you're using.
Gotcha.
So gymnasts can have nice round keisters, and they can be very skinny down there, depending on what they're. Generally, the
Right,
all-around gymnasts have nice round rumpuses.
Yes. Let's ask Larry Nasser.
That's
Well,
messed
Nightwing
up.
is famously acrobatic, so I mean that would explain the nice derriere as well if he's an all-around great gymnast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see his ribbon routine.
Ooh.
Speaking of ribbon routines, Biff, why don't you give us yours?
Well, to
What-
me, I had my first thought was Dick, and then the more I thought about it, I changed.
My first thought is always Dick.
That was just
I always think of Dick first.
first thing I think of.
I thought of a lot of the things that have been touched on in this discussion. Like first I said, okay, well, I think it makes a lot of sense if this person's related to Bruce Wayne. I think it makes sense if this person is really good and likes the ladies. And also if they're have military combat training background and things like that. So I'm going to go with Kate Kane.
Oh.
Likes
Wow,
the
deep
late,
cut.
likes the ladies, related to the Waynes, so she has money and military and combat training. I think that makes perfect sense for a replacement to Batman.
Okay.
Actually, didn't she like wasn't she Batman once in one story arc? Maybe not. No, maybe Barbara Gordon was. I don't know.
I don't know. Doesn't ring any bells. What about you, Sekju?
Lurking will address this. in
Lurking
the
will address
comment
this in the
section.
next comment section. Was Kate Kane ever Batman? Tell us.
She was Batwoman.
Yes, she was. And she was
She's
a
a
really
little
good Batwoman,
A little
too.
too curvy to be Batman.
Yeah.
Right. Too much room in the cod piece.
So that is my answer.
Or not enough.
Oh, Kathy Kane made her debut. Oh, wait. Never
What?
mind. I tried Googling it. We'll leave it for lurking. Forget it.
Okay. Lurking can do it. Lurking can do it.
Get on it, man.
All right. Who hasn't said their piece yet? Sekju, I think you're the dead last. Who do you think?
Oh. Well, it's hard for me to say differently than Dick Grayson because I kind of agree with that one, but I think another good fit would have been, and I'm going to say this, Tim Drake, but not necessarily the modern Tim Drake. I like Tim Drake from the 90s and the early 2000s.
Right.
Because he's a hell of a detective is like his thing. And like Batman is the world's greatest detective. So thinking of it in the context of who might make for the best actual Batman replacement, I feel like Tim Drake had the best temperament for that to be the next Batman.
Yeah.
But again, I'm trying to remember what the hell happened with Tim after his father was killed. If he like moved in with Bruce or if like Bruce like adopted him essentially, because I can't remember exactly what happened with that, but I feel like there was some public connection between Tim Drake and Bruce Wayne that would have made sense for his wealth to go to Tim Drake as well. So I
Yeah.
think that he would make another good all-around replacement in general for Batman. But again, I think there's better ones. I'd be saying him just to have an argument versus saying like Dick Grayson for all the reasons I mentioned before and the
Sure.
reasons Retmus mentioned.
Sure.
I think the only criteria that we could all agree on is they at least had to have one parent murdered
Yes.
to,
Yes.
to be able
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah.
It's
In
the
general,
Bambi,
in
the
general.
Bambi requirement.
Yeah.
So messed up.
It is weird that Batman went from detectives just a guy who beats up crazy people. You know? I mean, it really took a hard turn at some point.
Right. I think the original spirit of Batman was detective. And I mean, Dick Grayson loved the guy, but like detective skills aren't exactly the thing they feature about him.
Yeah.
Like Tim Drake, that was his thing. He was like really good investigating as Robin and helping on the detective side of things.
He's a motherfucking Hardy boy.
Yep.
Hardy Boys. I think those are all great answers. I can definitely see how all of them match up in the DC universe and how they match up with the stories.
And obviously this was the roundtable discussion before they came up with Gotham Knights and they just couldn't decide on
Right.
one. So they're like, fuck
Yeah.
it, we'll make a new guy.
Right.
Yeah, that makes no
Yeah.
sense. Whose parents were, but at least
Touched on
in
like
his
Stephanie
case,
Brown or
his-
Cassandra Cain or any of those people yet that Batman has fostered.
at least that made up character did lose his parents.
That's true.
So
It's true. He
so
meets
he
the criteria.
at least has that criteria.
Wow. Everybody Batman knows gets their life ruined.
It's
Well,
kind
in
of true.
this case,
Yeah.
his parents. What's his Chekhov's name again? Gotham Knights. I don't even remember. But
Taylor or something.
yeah, who knows? But the Batman killed his parents
Oh.
because his parents were assassins.
God damn.
Oh,
So Bruce Wayne takes him in after he himself killed that guy's parents.
Damn. On that note, folks, let's transition
A lot
into
of
our
parents dying.
parents thing. Speaking
Should
of
have done a
parents,
show like on Mother's Day.
right. Is that next week?
Yeah.
I can never remember. All right. Speaking of dead parents, let's shift over to Superman. And
Dead civilizations.
dead civilizations, right? And I want to ask maybe a bit of a I don't know if it's a dumb question, but maybe it's a question that still needs to be asked, and I don't know that it has an answer. And maybe we can discuss it philosophically here. Maybe we will solve the dilemma that many others have never been able to, and that is, what is this idea of Superman being the big blue Boy Scout, and is it passe in today's modern society? Do you think that, folks look at Superman as being dull, or what's the word I'm looking for here? Passe, I guess, is just not in
the
season,
time.
not in favor, right?
Archaic.
Archaic. Yes, there you go. Thank you, Remus.
You're welcome.
What do you think about that as an idea? And maybe I want to start with one of our resident Sekju Superman expert, Sekju over here. What do you think about this topic, since you are probably asked this question of quite a bit?
I think that the idea that Superman is like passe or well, I don't forget, like, I don't know, you're saying boring or something like that. A
Sure.
lot of that stems from people that don't really understand the character and the character's backstory, but also from the cynicism in today's society towards everything, that something simply can't be 100% good or wholesome, or, you know, what Superman is meant to represent, this unstoppable force for good, because, you know, people always have a cynical outlook on things, that evil always triumphs in the end, whether it be, you know, this evil entity in a comic book or in real life. So when they see like this unstoppable side of good, that it's like no matter what, this thing always triumphs in the end, it's automatically easy to be cynical against that and say, oh, well, he doesn't face real threats because he can always overcome anything, because basically Superman decides what a job is for Superman, and that is the determination of his limits within the comics. Like, he
Right.
just does whatever the hell he wants based on the writer and what they need him to do, and that's been his shtick since his creation. So the better stories with Superman, I feel, are the ones that like show his good nature, but in a unique and special way. So, like, I know a lot of people always point to All-Star Superman when he talks the girl that's going to commit suicide off the ledge, basically, like, you know, helping people on the small level, doing the silly little things that people make fun of, like helping the little girl get the cat out of the tree in the first Superman movie. Like, those cute little moments that show that, yeah, not only can he stop a meteor from ending all life on Earth, but he cares about everyone down to the smallest person and their smallest problems, that's what makes him good. And I do think that there is a place for that, and a necessary place for that in today's society, because everyone is so cynical and everything does have to be so dark and edgy. And really, I think that's what killed like the effort that Henry Cavill had as modern Superman. Was there's a guy that looked the role, absolutely. They probably could have played a bubblier and happier, more Superman version of Superman.
Yeah.
And because like he was written as so dark and edgy, it didn't catch on with a lot of the people that are hardcore Superman fans. You know, a lot of people loved it too, and there's nothing wrong with that either. You know, Superman is a character for everybody. But I think when you try to make him too dark and too edgy, you end up with more of an Ultraman than you do a Superman, and that's just not as lovable of a character. So I don't know. I think that there is a place for a unstoppable force for good. I think you need that, especially when there is so much evil thrown at us in the comic books and so many universe-threatening threats that every 5 years there's a crisis that's going to wipe everyone off the map. So, you know, there is a necessary place for an unstoppable force for good in Superman, who is a giant blue Boy Scout.
All right, everybody. That's Atlantis After Dark. We'll see you next week. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I was about as perfect as it gets. I would even dare I shift it over to Retpmus and ask him if he concurs, because I don't know if I can add anything to that. Good grief.
Sorry, it was lengthy.
No, you're right. You're spot on.
I think somebody had a cigarette during that, maybe. I don't know.
What do you think, Retpmus?
I 100% agree. I think that, I mean, there's two ways to look at it. You look at it like today's society and what it is and what we should strive to be. And he's kind of like a principle. Like, this is what, even with all this power and might that you have, that you could take over the whole entire world if you wanted to. You could do anything, but yet he chooses to take all that power for good, and it doesn't manipulate him. It doesn't corrupt him. Because of his upbringing, it stems from the value of having parents in the home that truly parented their children, that showed them the right way, you know, to live in society, the way you should treat your fellow man, you know, treat someone like you want to be treated, basically. And he just took it to heart and he went with it. And that is what really comes out. It's the Kents. You know, it's not Superman. It's the Kents' family values. And if you track it back, what were the Kents? They were humble farmers, you know, and they lived it. They would, you know, help their fellow neighbor. You know, they would trade foods and grains and, things to make sure the community's fed if they didn't have food, So it was like just so ingrained and instilled in their nature themselves that that's what brought over to him. And does this fit in modern day today? It doesn't, because that's not how society is, but it's what it should strive to be. So we should have something out there as that role model, as that standard, that, we might not reach that, but does it hurt to try and be a little bit better like that? Is it that bad to try and put a little bit of kindness in your heart, or try and help your fellow man? And I think that's what he is. He's just it's that ideology behind him that what makes him great. And it doesn't matter what time period it is, that can still hold it in the future, in the past, anywhere, because it strives to show what a better person truly can be. And that's how I feel how Superman is, and it can always be.
So is it more a situation where you think society is overall far more jaded
Yes.
than they used to be? I can
Yes.
see that. I can see that.
That sounded like a political speech. That was crazy. I'm inspired. I want to go volunteer somewhere.
Sorry. That's
wanna
my closing statement for today.
I want to go feed the homeless today. Thank you.
I know,
that's
right?
not true.
So you don't need to ask
Never,
me.
never.
Just replay this.
I'll never be
Replay that.
charitable.
You hear that, all West Virginia write-in votes for Retpmus.
Right. That's right.
him in
That's
there.
right.
West Virginia. That's the way to roll, folks.
Well, I just feel that that's what he was all about anyway.
Oh, you're right.
I never thought that was like the problem I think that was a problem with Superman for a while, because in a weird way, it's almost like society just started rooting for sociopaths over heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't know why, but for some reason, I think everyone, I catch myself watching Empire Strikes Back, since it was Star Wars weekend. Who didn't think Boba Fett was the coolest character ever?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, no one thought Luke Skywalker was the coolest person. They all were like, Darth Vader's great.
See, I agree with
Yeah,
Darth
that's
Vader.
great.
I never understood the Boba Fett love. I really never did.
really?
I thought he was the coolest
Just
guy. And then
the
Badass.
bounty hunter
Yeah,
with the
oh,
weapons, the jetpack. I mean, he was badass.
helmet.
I don't know. I mean, I agree with Darth Vader and cheering for the bad guys thing. I'm with you there, but I never understood the Boba thing.
This
Oh
is
God, I got 4 Boba Fett figures within 10 feet of me right now.
Yeah. See, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I'm
just
not begrudging anybody for liking Boba
Yeah,
Fett.
well-
I just never understood it from the original movies. He
Okay.
has 3 scenes.
Maybe
He's a
you'd understand it
badass.
more if you weren't high all the time. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not. This is an intervention.
Or if
we're
it
all
came
just-
from
look,
my childhood versus me watching them later,
right.
see
We all
this is
care
what I
about
think.
you.
But yeah, but
This is the problem with modern day society and our perception of things and the way agendas are pushed. Think about this. Who doesn't love John Wick? John Wick is an awesome movie. He's badass. It's Keanu Reeves, right?
Right.
But he's a freaking assassin murderer that's killed so many people, but you're rooting for this guy.
right.
Okay,
Well,
Well,
why?
because they killed his dog.
Right. But that
So all bets are off at that point.
right,
You
but
do what you gotta
that's the first part. That's the first story.
right.
But what it does is it twists and manipulates and uses our emotions to root for a bad guy, because
Right.
he's a bad guy. He's
Oh,
not
yeah.
a good guy.
Well, there
Say-
are. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying it's the same for all of these movies. You go and you start rooting for this bad guy. I mean, you could an old example was the TV series Heroes with Sylar. If you guys remember Sylar from the Heroes series, he was a guy that would kill all the other superheroes to steal their powers. And he was a mass murderer. He killed everybody. But then later on, he turns and he becomes a good guy and he starts helping the good guys. So all's forgiven for all those murders because now he's on the good guys team. And
Well, Sorry, finish up.
I'm just
Sorry.
saying that's what happens is they play off your emotion and the perception of all will be forgiven if you do something good. And because that's what you want to strive to be is good, right? That's their hidden message behind that. But nobody ever takes into account what they were before.
Right.
See,
Well,
I
I
was
didn't
cheering
think
from
that's
him
that.
from the beginning because because Zachary Quinto's from Pittsburgh. So I was like, "Fucking kill them all, Sylar! Woo! Get that cheerleader!"
I
I
don't even know
enjoy
that-
all the movies.
I don't even know that they necessarily say you want to come from a good place. I mean, there are other things like The Sopranos. Tony Soprano's he's a sociopath.
Yeah.
Like Walter White is not.
What
a
about
good guy,
Dexter?
but we
Dexter.
Dexter.
How many
Dexter.
people cheered for
Yeah.
Dexter to always get away from the cops?
Yeah.
He's a freaking murderer.
Like
He's
season two with like Dokes was like the good guy. Dokes is the good guy here, but everyone's rooting against Dokes. They want him to be framed for the murder, and it's just. But those are like just so that's where back to Superman. It's like it would be difficult writing, but I think it's just like because that's such a different take on it now. In a weird way, it went from being what every superhero tried to emulate. Superman at the beginning, because that was like the first comic book, the first major superhero to take off. People started to emulate that. Then it turns. Now I think it's difficult writing, but I think that would make it. I think he absolutely has a place now. I think the problem with Superman has always been that there's such a power difference between him and everyone else, and that's like the tough thing. Again, difficult writing, but yeah.
I
Sorry.
think
Also, don't be good. Don't be good to anybody.
Yeah, be good at all. Just
Right.
the world now skews very negative.
No, we don't.
It's and the so my initial I had when you sent this out, these two subjects initially, like knee jerk Dick Grayson, immediately knee jerk Superman is passe. Because of the way society is today. But then as the more I thought about it, the way I completely went to the side of Sekju and Retpmus, and what we're saying here is having something that's genuinely good. Because I go back to being a kid. I joked on the show before that Adam West taught me more about being a good person than my own parents did. And if you think about kids and you think, and it's not just 50-year-old, 40-year-old nerds like us that like comic books, it's also kids. It's also, that's how we got into it as kids. Yeah. It's nice for them to have someone that's a role model, whether it's real or in the comics or whatever, someone that's just genuinely wants to do the right thing. So there's nothing wrong with that. My first thought is, yeah, he's passe in today's world. But then I thought, well, no, he's not, because that's a good thing to have someone like that people look up to and people strive to be better.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, in today's society, that's super rare.
Yeah. Oh,
when in today's society, as you see amongst comic book fans, is something to be mocked and put down, and to be described as either passe or boring, or the character's lame. Nobody can stand up to him, so what's the point? Well, I mean, characters do all the time. Like Superman faces challenges all the time if you actually read the comics, but you have to read the comics to do that.
Yeah. And by the way, I generally skew towards the bad guys. There is a fine line between mass murderer and badass.
The reason why
the cowboy fan roots for the bad guys.
Oh.
I'm shocked.
The reason why is because we see in the bad guys a lot of the things we wish we could do, but we know we can't. So we see ourselves in them. I mean, if you take a psychological perspective, that's a lot of reasons why you root for them. And you get attached to those characters. You're like, yeah, I would have definitely done that. He deserved to die. Or, oh yeah, he deserved, to be hit by that car, but that's that person's perspective. But in the back of our mind, we all have a little bit of that evilness, or let's not say evil, a darker side a little bit. And we can't act upon that in today's society, or you go to jail, you get locked up, but in the fantasy world, that's why a lot of people get wrapped up in like role-playing games or like Dungeons and Dragons or the online World of Warcraft, because you can go live out your fantasies that you can't do in real life. And I think that's a lot of reasons why we root for bad guys.
Right.
I've
like
got
Grand
a lot
Theft
of
Auto. Grand Theft Auto. I can't steal a car and kill a prostitute anymore. It's, that was my dream.
Sales have plummeted.
Yeah.
If I could be anyone, it'd be a real life scarecrow.
Oh, nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that makes sense actually, but
Would you
Given
drink?
your no, I mean like because like the the Stephen
Dr. Crane,
bits.
yeah. Would you still
the Dr.
drink?
Crane bits. Not Stephen Crane. That's
Jonathan.
Stephen Crane. Jonathan.
Jennifer,
Yeah, this is Jonathan. Would you
Stephen
still
Crane
drink?
was the Red Badge of Courage, I think.
Oh, he can't hear me.
I don't
That's
know.
okay. No, anyways, gosh, I think
What are
that's
your
been-
thoughts, AB?
What are my thoughts? Oh, yeah, I didn't go, did I? I don't think he's passe, right? I think this is just my opinion, but I think tastes and things change and go in and out of style all the time. I mean, you think about it, you know, bell-bottom jeans. Nobody wears bell-bottom jeans. I wear bell-bottom jeans all the time. Do you know why? Because they never went out with me. And one day, I'm going to be a badass strutting down the street in my totally rocking bell-bottom jeans, and everybody's going to be like, those are so awesome. Those are the most awesome things I've ever seen. I'm going to be like, yeah, I know. I rock this shit. I rep it. This is who I am. That's the point I'm trying to make here, folks. The point I'm trying to make here is, you know, rep what you want and fuck everybody else.
It is crazy how different like comics have gotten. Like, yeah, I know we all talk about like the like Challenge of the Super Friends.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, and it's just crazy to think just how good one side was versus just how evil. I mean, they were like, "We're going to blow up the earth." It's
Yeah.
like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? No, you don't.
Yeah, like, where are you gonna live?
Yeah.
It's just like we're going, and it's just like, I mean, there is no like bit of
Nuance.
goodness in every. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's 100% like you're all good, you're all evil, and then you know.
Yeah.
And it was entertaining, but also like no one's that evil, but also no
Yeah.
one's that good. So the fact that if a Superman would be that good, it would be, you know.
Yeah.
It's-
It's not
I'll
ambiguous.
tell you
just-
who was that evil was Duke Nukem. That guy was pure evil. All he wanted to do was loot and plunder.
Oh, I remember those.
Oh. I think
And Wario's that evil.
Wario.
Warrior's
Yeah, there you
cool
go.
though. Yeah, so he's an
Um,
evil cool. See, I like him. He's evil, but he's cool. I think it's all perspective.
Yeah.
It's all personal preferences. When you come down to it, it's just what you feel, you believe. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's like AB was saying. You know, if you like it, you know, enjoy it. It's that
Yeah.
simple. I'm reminded of this little comic strip I saw a long time ago about perspective. It showed this guy stranded on a desert island. And then it showed another guy that was on a single like boat from a shipwreck. And he's like, land, I'm saved, hooray. And the guy on the island's like, a boat, I'm saved, hooray. You know, it's
Yeah.
perspective.
That it is. That it is. So that's my take on it. You know, I don't think Superman is passe. I think that tastes and values in society vary and change, but they always tend to swing back. You know, the pendulum always swings the other way. So eventually it'll come around to a point where nobody will think Superman is passe and everybody will think Batman is passe. Ugh, here's this lumbering idiot who just uses his fist to solve all his problems. Ugh.
And sweet gadgets.
Right. You know,
He just
so,
uses
yeah.
all his money.
Right.
that's
He's
all
just
he
a rich
does.
bastard. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have any true power.
I want
Could
to
you
see
imagine-
the hard swinging Batman back towards like the Adam West era where he's like helping
Oh.
old ladies across the street and making sure he stops for traffic and like I
Could you
want
imagine-
Batman.
Could you imagine how shitty the Batman sales would be if he was just this nice guy who only was a detective? You know, he would
Yeah.
never use violence. He would basically just use his gadgets, be a
But
nice guy who's
that's-
a detective.
Think of Doctor Who.
Hmm.
If you've ever seen Doctor Who, doesn't use guns, weapons. I mean, it uses his brain to figure out every single thing, or her brain. But that's the whole premise, is
Yeah.
using your intelligence to solve problems. So, and it's detective work. It really is.
But
So it's a
even good,
Sherlock
wholesome-
Holmes. It's a
But even
Sherlock
good
Holmes.
wholesome Batman still had a component of whoop ass. I mean, we did
Yeah.
have that great onomatopoeia on the screens of just like
Yes,
wham and
I love
pow. And,
those.
like, I mean, there was some ass kicking going on even with cordial, well mannered, good Batman. So
Yeah.
that doesn't. I mean, there's still a component in there of whooping ass.
Oh, I
don't
agree.
know.
Yeah. It would have been kind of cool to see how far that series, if it never got canceled, how far and how many years it could have lasted. You know, if it just kept going on and like how it would change
Oh, and
year by
evolve with
year.
time.
Yeah. I mean, like, what if it was still going on today? What would he be doing? As a character, would he be like, I just kill everything, type character? I'm just saying, like, how would it evolve? That would be an interesting thing to see. If you just take like the pattern of time, I'm sure you could like pull up like an AI algorithm or create one for that, like based upon the time periods and how it slowly progresses to today. What would he be like now?
No, I'm sure you could create an AI algorithm.
Well, if it's like all the other
Not
AI
me.
algorithms out there, he'll end up fat and eating cheeseburgers or something. Because that's what
Right.
every time I'm on YouTube and they're like, look what I did with these superheroes. It ends up being fat superheroes eating cheeseburgers. I'm like, what is the
Yeah.
obsession with this?
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of like Batman eating donuts.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand that either.
Yeah.
I saw the creepiest one. It was like this, Big Bird laid an egg and then it hatched this like human hybrid. It was the most
Jesus
I
Christ.
literally I've never been so
Sorry, the religious
disturbed
folks.
by anything in my life, I think, as like seeing this like this middle-aged bearded guy coming out of a chicken egg, and it was just like, whoever, like, stop it. No,
Oh,
AI,
wow.
you win, take over.
Oh my God.
It was just like, AI, there's so much creepy stuff with that.
Yeah. Yeah. AI is coming, folks.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're
Cyberdyne.
leaving out the movie Moonfall.
Yeah.
It's so
Cyberdyne.
terrible.
I've never seen Moonfall.
It's a terrible movie,
Yeah.
but the premise at the end is kind of wild, like what it really is.
Yeah,
but the rest
wild
of the movie's
sci-fi
hoary.
premise. Yeah.
Oh, it's like Soylent Green?
Yes.
Okay.
Did that have Roddy
Yes.
Roddy Piper in it?
No.
No,
It would have
Roddy
been so
Piper.
much better if it had.
I mean,
Even just CGI
Oh.
rendition. would
how
have
could
been
it
see,
not?
I didn't know anything about that movie, AB, until you pointed me to it a while back. Remember
Which movie was that?
the Soylent Green that you just talked
Oh,
about?
Soylent Green. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's made of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, you remember I didn't know, but we talked about it
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
a year or two ago, and you said, "Yeah, check it out."
Yeah.
I did. I mean, it's old,
It
but
is an
it's
old
still
movie.
People!
it's
It's
still
terrible.
cool.
It's a
got
terrible
the
film.
the
though.
message,
Yeah. The message is all right, but the movie itself is just terrible.
It's kind of like Idiocracy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
great movie.
That's a really good film.
It's
I love that
crazy
movie.
how and it's like watching that now, you're like, wait, we really are.
We are, yeah. We're getting there a lot faster.
It's
I swear I
insane.
saw a sign at Starbucks the other day for a gentleman's latte.
A gentleman's latte.
Isn't that from
Mhm.
that movie?
Mhm.
Like all those coffee shops are like sex shops, and like
Oh right.
all
That's
the
right.
major
That's
brands
right.
like Fuddruckers
Yeah.
becomes butt
Hey,
fuckers, and like
There's a Starbucks. That's great, Joe, but I don't think we have time for a hand job right now.
yeah, you gotta water plants like water, like from the toilet.
Water comes out of a toilet. It's
But
got
it
I thought it
has
was all
electrolytes.
Gatorade. It was
But
all
no,
Gatorade.
he's trying to convince them that they need to water the plants with water. And like, what do
Right.
you mean, like out the toilet?
But
Yeah.
it has electrolytes.
That's what
Rondo.
plants crave.
Do you know they actually made Brondo the thirst mutilator?
That's amazing. Is Thomas Hayden Church the spokesman?
I don't know. You really suck.
It's almost like there's this
Rondo.
The thirst mutilator.
there's something called the Dunning-Kruger effect, where like, people with a little bit of knowledge just assume they're experts on something, which you could probably get from my Batman response. How I talk like an expert. But it's like, so just seeing like some of these things, like it's like Idiocracy, where these people just assume they know everything because they see these little things, but you see it in daily, like watching videos about people who just assume they know everything about like whatever. But
Yeah.
Disclaimer: we all speak the bullshit we think. We don't claim to be
Yeah.
experts.
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, believe me, no one in this room is about this podcast. But I mean, like people will be like talking about like constitutional rights because they've read the Constitution, and they're just like,
They have
Oh, I get you.
Like
they have
the
a
sovereign
constitution
citizen.
in their pocket.
Oh my god, that stuff.
Pull it out.
yeah, and then it's like, no, the Supreme Court, James Madison tells me I can. And it's like, all right,
Yeah. Good for you and James Madison.
right. But those are the people, and it's just like, but you see that today, and you think it's hard not to think of Idiocracy, where they just like know how they like. No, you got to use this because it has electrolytes.
Yeah. Yeah. Rondo the thirst mutilator. It's like shaving your chest with a lawnmower.
I'm trying to remember. Don't they have a name for the IDs, or am I thinking of something else when the IDs are called
Oh,
the Showbies or something, or the
The Show Me's was Fringe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Fringe.
That great
Fringe was
reference
another
there. That
great
show's
show, by
fucking
the way.
awesome.
That show's incredible.
Love
Fringe.
We just
Love
need
it.
to have another show about shows.
Yeah, we just talk about shit.
Well, Fringe feels like it was written for the comic book universe
It does.
fans. Like that
It
show
does.
is amazing if you like comic books. I mean, it doesn't even have superheroes in it, but it may as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess Peter kind of becomes
Kinda,
a superhero, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I actually just finished that about for the fourth time, the whole series with my son a few months ago. But we watched, beginning to end, and then we'll pick another show, like we'll do X-Files, and we're going to go through all the X-Files from beginning to end, and we just loop through different shows that that I watched when he wasn't around, and I'm like, these are good, trust me, and like I always feel like he's going to look at that and say, this is so old time, it's not going to be good now, but everyone he's watched, he's loved, so.
No, you got to prime him with some really old, awful stuff. Like, what was that one? The one with about the Viper. Whenever they were reintroducing the Dodge Viper, and they had
It was Viper.
It was literally just Viper, right?
Yeah.
Make him watch that, and then that way the next thing you'd be like, "Don't worry, this is much better."
You're like, watch Knight Rider.
What I loved about Knight Rider, after Knight Rider, they started coming up with all these offshoots, like this
yes.
movie Riptide.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like basically it's like a smart boat.
Airwolf was the helicopter.
Yeah, Airwolf
was great with Jan Michael Vincent. That was
Ernest
fantastic.
Borgnine. Oh, it was great.
Yes. I actually
A
couple weeks
the theme
ago.
song. Oh.
Yes.
You see, for all these reasons, Superman is still a very relevant character in today's society.
Yep.
So there.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. And I think on that note, I am going to take this opportunity to wrap us up and take it around the horn. We haven't done this in a while, but I want to wrap it up and take it around the horn and get everybody's last word. And guess what? I'm going to start today with Retmus.
Shocker. Got his last word.
Yeah. Just to reiterate on everything, because like, sorry I give such a huge speech in the middle of it, but it's just sometimes you just got to get it out.
Oh yeah.
If you get what if you know what I'm saying, because you just want to share your perspectives, and then like if I share my perspective on something and I'm like, hey, Sekju, I think of this. What do you think about this, buddy? And I explain something to him, and he might come back and be like, yeah, I can see that, but have you thought of this? And maybe I never did. And then that makes me think of a different path or different process where my original thought might have been flawed, or it might have supported and made my case even stronger. So everything, like I was saying before, it's all about perspective. It's about the way you feel, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. There truly is no right or wrong in your mind. There's a right and a wrong in society. So I know it's kind of a little deep if you think about that, but that's how it really is. So you want to strive to the ideals that make you, not you someone else, because then you just put a facade up and you fake your life and you become someone you're not. So enjoy what you like, do what you do, stay within the law always, and just try to be the better man. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that. How can that ever come back, really to bite you if you try to be good? I mean, I've heard stories where people are like, no, this guy tried to save this woman that was in a car accident and he did this and now she took him to court and sued him. I mean, you hear stories like that. It's like, that's why I don't want to be good. Yeah, but she could have died if he didn't. So he saved her life. I mean, there's perspectives both ways. Yeah, you might get screwed. Nothing is happy. We don't live in a perfect world. That's how we recognize good things, because we have to experience bad things. So without bad, you wouldn't know what good is. So anyway, I'm just blabbing. Just enjoy yourself. Have fun. All the points and concepts we have on here is just our personal expressions. You might agree, disagree. And that's what makes the world great. Because if we all agreed on the same thing, we would not have variety. And without variety, it would just be plain and boring. So be happy.
I agree. And I couldn't have said it better myself. Variety is, as they say, the spice of life. Thank you very much, Retmus. As always, an excellent point made. And I turn it over to, and I might as well follow tradition, Biff, You get to follow that, buddy.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, think about variety as a spice of life. Think about if everyone ate the same thing all the time, how boring restaurant menus would be.
Be a lot easier.
No? Yeah, no, I know, but that's why it's nice that we all like something different. But I'll go the exact opposite of Retmus, because what I learned on today's show is being evil is badass, and just I am going to start when we hang up today. I am going to start working on a fear toxin, and just to run roughshod over this world, because I am going to make it happen, and because everyone loves a badass.
Is the base of that toxin going to be gin?
It's going to be it's going to be something alcoholic. I actually, in the spirit of Cinco de Mayo, I might base it in tequila. Make people go, not just might not make people just go crazy. It'll make people go fucking start salsaing or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But I'm going to start being evil starting today.
It sounds like a Batman 66 villain, the sombrero.
But it has to be like like a female sombrero played by Charo.
Right.
You know, like it has
Charo.
to be a famous person playing the Batman villain.
All right. Well, that is an interesting.
Every Batman 66
has a
villain had to be featured on the Love Boat at some point.
Sal Mineo.
Fred Grandy. Yeah.
Liberace.
Is that all you got, pal?
When Liberace is a Batman 66 villain, you realize, as Retmus said so eloquently earlier, we could do a show about that show.
Yeah,
Probably
he was one of the villains in the 66, wasn't he?
Liberace was. Absolutely.
Was he really?
Yeah. By the way,
All
we
right.
could do a show
About Liberace.
on Batman 66 villains and the star power of these people that came in and wanted to be part of that show. It was unbelievable when you see some of the names.
It's like guest appearances on Criminal Minds. Everyone has been on Criminal Minds. If you've been in anything since 2020, or not 2020, 2010,
2010?
2005, you've been on Criminal Minds.
Yeah. That's some crazy shit.
Either as a victim or as one of the murderers.
That's
You
a
could also
pretty
say
good
that
show.
about Law and Order, couldn't you? I mean, everybody's
Oh,
been on
yeah,
that
yeah,
show
absolutely.
too.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a solid dick wolfing.
Yeah. Speaking of
I've been
dicks,
watching FBI recently, be getting dick wolfed pretty hard there too.
yeah.
Man, do you know how many shows that guy's done? He's
Yeah.
a lot.
Isn't it the same as like what's the one, Lorne Michaels or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Million and a half shows.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Lord Michael's just doing Saturday Night Live now, isn't he? Isn't that the
Yeah.
only thing he does?
Yeah. He
Oh,
but
did
in the
movies and
past, he'd
stuff
had a
before,
lot.
Yeah. He
I
does
mean,
the
if you
Tonight
look
Show
at-
and stuff now too, though.
Oh, okay. I mean, all the shows. I mean, there's the Chicago shows. All those Chicago shows are
PD
Dick
and
Wolf
FD,
shows.
Chicago
The
Hope, and-
FBI's.
I haven't watched any of the Chicago ones, but they just started watching FBI and kind of getting into Most Wanted, but haven't really picked it up yet.
Gotcha.
By
See,
the
I
way,
just
AB.
I like spin everybody off topic. Sorry, I've
AB.
been doing that the whole show.
AB Liberace played Chandel, aka Fingers, in a plot to murder Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson so that he
Fingers?
could marry Aunt Harriet and claim
Oh.
Bruce Wayne's fortune.
Yeah, that sounds like Liberace.
Okay, yeah. They
Ever
call
the
her
ladies'
Fingers.
man.
AKA Fingers.
Fingers. Sounds like an informant from the mob. Is that all you got for us, Biff?
Oh yeah, that's
All right, buddy. All right. Thank you very much, pal. Much appreciated. Sekju, it is your turn, pal. Give us your last word.
All right, so my last word. Listen, Boba Fett only shows up 3 freaking times. Somebody needs to explain to me what makes him so cool. I seriously don't get it. Because in hindsight, now that we've had Mandalorian and they've expanded upon, and we've had the prequel trilogy and they have expanded upon Boba Fett, I get the coolness at this point. What I don't understand is the Boba Fett obsession from the 70s when he was first introduced and he had like 2 scenes.
He had a mystique. That was what it was. That's all it was. He had a mystique.
The coolest action figure in all of Star Wars. Like as a kid, just looking at that action figure made I got a 18-inch tall Boba Fett 5 feet from me right now.
I mean, I'm not begrudging your love.
I mean, no one else had. No one else
cool now. I just don't get the back then.
No one else had a jetpack. No one else had like weapons like he had. I mean, seriously, no one in the whole storyline. No one else did anything like that.
Yeah, he didn't have to say anything.
You're forgetting the Christmas special that he was in.
Oh,
I've never actually seen the Christmas special.
I haven't either.
It's not
By
great.
the way,
that's not the Ewok one, is it?
Life goals.
No, that's the one where they're trying to get back to Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
And the Wookiee's homeworld, and Wookiee boy is trying to watch TV, and he's watching Harvey Korman cook for some reason. I'm not sure what was going on there. But yeah, that's what I remember from it.
I actually felt guilty in those Knights of the Old Republic levels when you're running around shooting Wookiees. Like, I just feel guilty, like, killing Wookiees in those games. They were evil Wookiees, but still, I felt bad about it.
Nobody wants to kill a Wookiee.
No.
Boba Fett dies in my favorite Star Wars scene of all time. I saw it yesterday.
Sarlacc pit?
The 4th. Yeah, the Dune scene in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, but he didn't die.
But it's been retconned.
Yeah.
Yeah, he blew his way out of that Sarlacc.
Yep.
Okay.
You should watch that.
And then that
sometime.
Sarlacc got eaten by a Krayt Dragon.
And he flew out of it with his jetpack.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, now that was cool.
Because he's such a
After
badass.
the fact.
Yeah. And his armor is still down in there.
Well,
He had to go
that
get
was
it.
Return of the Jedi. That was in the 80s.
Yeah, but no, he gets eaten in Return of the Jedi. It's the show where they show him escaping and actually surviving the Sarlacc. You assume that he's dead at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite scene in all Star Wars movies combined, and I end that scene sad because Boba Fett went into the belly of the beast.
By the way, the inside of that Sarlacc pit is disgusting.
And it's like a joke how it's like Han Solo. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, AB, but on that subject, he's like blind and he's like, Boba Fett just turns around and knocks him into the fucking Sarlacc pit. So like Boba Fett, this cool character, just gets poked by accident.
Yeah, that was disappointing for sure.
Just saying. So that's
I thought the show was disappointing
That's
too.
my last
The
word,
show was
and
disappointing. Yeah, the show was
Happy
terrible.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I was going to say that at the end of the show. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Oh shit! Everybody's stealing your stuff today.
I know. I'm just getting cock blocked everywhere I look. Is that all you got, man? I don't know. If
that's all I got.
You just wanted to know what made
on
Boba Fett. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, pal. We appreciate you. And Miss Junk, you get the last word today.
Well, thank you. First of all, it's so great to be back. It's been a while, and it's nice to see all you guys. And I love talking to you, even though like you guys, like your knowledge of comics, especially DC, is like next level compared to mine. So it's always fun to listen to your takes, and it's always fun to do that. And sorry if I don't have enough. Sorry if it feels like I'm not keeping up at some point. I'm legitimately not struggling at some point to keep up. But it's really great to see you guys. I just want to spring's in the air. It's a new time. It's a new season. You know, Mother's Day is coming. We have. I hope everyone gets outside more and does something that they want to do, something brand new that they've always wanted to do in this spring. Just enjoy something that you've get out there and do something that you want to. But like it's the other day I went outside. There was a mourning dove right on my railing outside. It was the coolest thing ever, and I followed him a little bit. Actually it was the postman, but I was following, but it's fine either way. Mourning dove, but it just made me realize, like, just to get out there, just walk around, enjoy things, and you know, I keep myself holed up a lot of the time, so it's nice. So now, like this week, I'm gonna travel some more. I'm going to LA, and it's gonna be a brutal week, but when I get back, you know, I get to work on some of the things, some of these projects I've been putting off for the longest time, and I'm gonna really enjoy them.
Nice.
Yeah, and people, when you go out for walks and enjoy nature, leave your phones at your house. Like I get so annoyed. I walk my dog all the time, and all these people are just walking around and screaming into their phone
Mm-hmm.
as they walk around. Just enjoy a little peace and quiet.
Yes. Just like it's okay to not look at your phone, to look at trees, to look at buildings, to look at the sky, to look at to go to a park and not feel like you have to get back. And
What's a tree?
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys.
Right.
I couldn't put down my phone to look at the TV.
No, I'm going for a walk as soon as we're done here today. I'm going to go stroll down to the park and enjoy some nature without my phone, just because you guys said
you
so.
have to. It's worth it. I mean, it'll be gone soon. So
Yeah. What? My
When the-
life or
when
my
the AI
phone?
overlords take over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, is that all you had for us, Miss Junk?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it? Okay. Well, listen, guys, you've all been seriously fantastic today. And I want to thank you guys for showing up. But moreover that, I want to thank all of you out there, listeners, for taking the time to be with us today. Get on our website, atlantisafterdark.com. Grab some cool swag from our merch store. Get on Discord, talk directly with us, and then hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. For BIFF, for Retpmus, for Miss Junk and Sekju, we'll see you all right here next time for another incredibly spectacular episode of Double AD. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. So long.